Hey everybody, welcome to Game Day View, delivered by Little Caesars, the official pizza of Super Bowl 58. Patrick Claybon here with Greg Rosenthal and Cynthia Freeland as we wrapped up the regular season picks, and Greg won the contest, but it's a whole new season.
Okay.
So, let's look at the standings. Disregard the left side of the screen.
I like
because we got dual crowns, Cynthia and Greg, both 4-2.
We're actually missing the real winner, who is your son.
That's
because
true.
Walker went 1-0.
Just Walker is 1-0. I would not have picked the Texans without him, so he is the reason I'm up there with the crowd.
He's the real winner. And happy belated again, Walker.
Yeah, Walker made it. Congratulations, because your Houston Texans and the Ravens kick off the divisional round. These teams that met way back in week 1, the first ever game for the number 2 overall pick. This is his first career pass. He tipped it to himself. If you don't support yourself, who will?
This is the game I watched in the very first window, my number 1 draft pick of games, and now here it is in the divisional round. Right
there you go.
There it is, and you'll always remember C.J. Stroud's first completion. Also, playing in his first game was Zay Flowers, the 22nd overall pick out of where, Cynthia?
Boston College.
Yeah, he got 21 yards there. He's also first game for Todd Monken, who saved me because, I like change at that point. J.K. Dobbins, 4th year out of Ohio State. So glad to have J.K. Dobbins back. It did not last long because on this catch in the red zone, he tore his Achilles, was out for the remainder of the season. It would be Justice Hill and Gus Edwards for the rest of the year. It was Justice Hill on the very next play. Got a 2-yard touchdown. The Ravens led 15-6 after getting a 2-point attempt. Fourth quarter now, Texans trailing 22-9. C.J. Stroud looking for a promising first game comeback win. It did not work because David Ojabo, who we didn't see a lot the rest of the season, strip sacked him. Michael Pierce recovered it. Ojabo coming off that Achilles tear. C.J. Stroud finished with 23 of 38 passing, 209 yards.
That's some dimes, though.
Yeah, the rest of his rookie season was underwhelming. Just kidding. It was one of the best that we've ever seen. The Texans and Ravens square off Saturday afternoon in Baltimore. Ravens looking to get back to the AFC Championship for the first time since 2012. Do they do it, Greg?
I think they do. I'm not going with the Texans again, even though they did me well. I don't even have them staying within 9.5. I have the Ravens winning 28-17. I think the mismatch is when Lamar Jackson and this Ravens offense has the ball. I think you need to be a special defense right now to stop them. I don't think the Texans are there. And it's because of the way Lamar finished the season. All these highlights we're seeing weeks 15-17. It's when the offense fully came together. If you take away the short pass, he'll go long. You take away the deep stuff, he can go over the middle now more than he did in the past even. And you've got Likely. You've got Justice Hill. I know Mark Andrews isn't there. You have Odell Beckham in the red zone, especially when you get near the goal line. They have so many different answers. They're still one of the most effective running teams in the league. I haven't even gotten to Lamar Jackson running the ball himself. So whether it's in structure or out of rhythm, they always find answers. And I think the Texans defense is very good. I don't think they can mix it up enough for 4 quarters to keep this Ravens offense down.
Well, I'm going to thread the needle.
Ooh, go for it.
A nice little, there we go. 26-19 is my score. Just a 1-touchdown win for the Ravens. I want to point out something I saw in this last week's matchup for C.J. Stroud. Because remember, the Browns defense, especially their passing defense, in many metrics were the very, very best in football. And I was watching, and you know how much separation all of the receivers had?
Lots.
A lot, like a whole bunch. If you're going to man me up, I'm just going to have Nico Collins run across the back of the formation and, tip it off to my quarterback, who, by the way, we know he's accurate. We've been talking about that since Ohio State, ladies and gentlemen. So if you're talking about an opportunity here to take advantage of the fact that Marlon Humphrey isn't playing, they are down some pieces, in that secondary, I think this is where you'll see the Texans keep it close. C.J. Stroud, he's going to be your O'Roy, and then, of course, Lamar, your MVP. So I think a nice 7-point win seems about right.
Yeah, 9 points feels overly optimistic to me. Surprise, surprise, I'm taking the Baltimore Ravens.
No.
I think the defense makes plays, especially Justin Madubuike coming through and making plays in the game. But again, as Greg mentioned, the Houston Texans run defense is not what the Texans would have liked to have had. And I think that stresses things to the point that the Ravens receivers will make plays. And it's something that's been building up for years where they've needed more out of this group. And they get Zay Flowers in the draft. Odell Beckham Jr. comes through. Nelson Aguilar can make plays as well. The Texans are going to have to devote so much attention to Lamar and the run game, Isaiah Likely. I think that there will be space. We saw, especially in those Browns highlights, all the free releases for the Houston Texans receivers. I think Baltimore's receivers have a lot of opportunity, and this group can take advantage of that. So we're all on the Baltimore Ravens, meme away, but let's play this guy or that guy in this round here. Greg, C.J. Stroud tossed 3 touchdowns last week. Lamar threw 5 the last time we saw him. Which quarterback is more likely to throw multiple passing touchdowns, Lamar or C.J. Stroud?
Well, you know I got to go with Lamar Jackson, the MVP of the league, the season we've waited forever from him, because it doesn't have to just be about their running game. It's all those weapons that I talked about. And I think the Texans' run defense, which has been really good in parts of this season, is going to be so focused on stopping him that there will be available receivers. Rashad Bateman quietly had his best game of the season in Week 17 before they started resting guys. And again, it's more options. They're going to score more points. You think about this team as a defensive team, but one of the best offenses in the league, one of the best red zone teams in the league, despite having 68 trips to the red zone. They're there all the time, and they capitalize.
All right, Cynthia, Nico Collins and Zay Flowers both lead their teams in receiving. Who's more likely to have over 5 catches on Saturday?
To me, this is Nico Collins. Not because I'm not liking Zay Flowers or something crazy like that, but there's just too many options there. Isaiah Likely's there, Odell Beckham Jr.'s there. There's just different ways that they can view. While Nico Collins seems to be the primary focus for C.J. Stroud in this offense. So I like the opportunity here for both of them to have 5, but I think the more likely one to have over 5 is going to be Nico Collins.
All right, I'll take the last one. Who's more likely to have over 35 receiving yards, Dalton Schultz or Odell Beckham Jr.? I will take Odell here because I think they're both getting 35 yards, especially with the attention that's going to go to Nico Collins for Houston. But I think the attention to the Ravens' run game leaves Houston vulnerable in the run-pass option game. We see Odell, I think he gets you 60 yards, so 35 should not be a problem from OBJ. Coming up, beating the Cowboys in Dallas has Jordan Love firmly in Aaron Rodgers' footprints. But can he do something 12 never could? Beat the 49ers in the playoffs. Our picks for that game in the NFC coming up next.
I hope he's watching and he's getting annoyed at this comparison.
He's like, I'm going to say something crazy. At least it's Little Caesars Pizza Day.
NFC West champions, Niner gang, rise up. You don't see that we ballin', you probably got your eyes shut. Third straight playoff run, you ain't gotta remind us. We gon' go 100 plus every time that we lined up. Had you on the edge of your seat, that CMC. Mention number 23 if you speaking of speed. Rushing title recipient for leading the league. Had an MVP type gear, you had to see to believe. Did Brock Purdy silence the doubters? I think so. The squad knew, but it's safe to say that the league know. 3 names for you, Kittle, Debo, Ayuk. Them boys been looking untamed all year on the loose. Look, let the defense have its way in its soul. Specifically the line led by Nick Bosa. It's one goal, the playoffs mean that we closer. So when we bring this home, remember this what we told you, Niners.
It's time for Pizza pregame predictions delivered by Little Caesars, the official pizza of Super Bowl 58. Packers and 49ers meeting for the 10th time in the playoffs. San Francisco has won 4 in a row, but Jordan Love and the Packers are on a roll. What happens this week, Greg?
I think the roll continues for the offense, but the defense turns back into the Joe Barry defense, and the 49ers score enough to win 33-29, so I'm threading that needle way under 9 points. But the reason the offense can get it done for San Francisco, not just CMC, but also the passing game with Brandon Ayuk. No matter how good you think Brandon Ayuk is, he's better. He is just a ridiculous receiver, maybe the most efficient receiver in the league, second in the league in completions over 10 yards, in terms of yardage, in terms of efficiency. Basically, he's the second best deep receiver in the league to Tyreek Hill. Like, this combination between him and Purdy are excellent. The last 3 years, he's 8th in the league in yards over-expected after the catch. So he can do it at the catch point. He can do it after the catch. He can get open. He doesn't need to get 170 yards every week because he's got Debo. He's got Kittle. But he is that good. He is as good, as valuable as those two guys. And I have a feeling this week against a thin Packers secondary, he gets it done.
I love that. I actually think Brandon Ayuk's really good, so I'm just trying to decide how good I think he is now, but whatever.
Better.
Even better than that? Okay, well, I have 27-21 in this matchup for San Francisco, so I, too, am threading the needle here. But I want to talk about how Jordan Love has accomplished what he's done. He's been well protected. You look against what happened when teams have blitzed him, which obviously the Niners, they rush 4 a lot. They don't blitz a ton. However, but when he has faced the blitz, what's he done since week 9? Just had the most passing yards in the league. 1,142 if you're keeping track at home. That does include last week as well. But I think that all of the different ways that San Francisco can try to pressure you, I do know that Coach LaFleur has an answer for many of them. Now, will he be able to keep that going for the entire game? I don't think so. I kind of agree with you. I think it's actually the Packers defense that lets them down. But I want to give some love to Jordan Love because that was really incredible. And also the coach working with the O-line, working with the run game, all of these things working together is really amazing. And the fact that they had 3 quarterbacks in a row that now look this good, it just seems like it's a cheat code. Are you cheating? What's going on? Cheat code.
I also have the 49ers winning 24-19, but I want to distribute some love as well, and not just to the quarterback. I think the reason that they've been on this run, it's Aaron Jones. Aaron Jones, since week 16, has had 537 rushing yards. For his career, he's over 125 yards from scrimmage against the 49ers. And this comes on the heels of 2 years of people saying, hey, well, it's time to get rid of Aaron Jones. It's time. We can't invest in the running back position.
I hate those people.
He's one of the best players on the team. We saw him make an incredible blitz pickup against Micah Parsons for a touchdown. What more do you want from Aaron Jones? Maybe he could play some defense.
Meme alert.
Meme away.
Meme away.
We are all on the San Francisco 49ers. But again, both Cynthia and I chose Packers players to highlight. We think the Packers are good. We just don't think they're better than the Niners in Santa Clara. So not only do we all like the Niners this week, but Cynthia's model has them as big-time favorites.
Rude.
Almost 50% to win the NFC, Cynthia.
49ers, 49%. Whoa, conspiracy theorists, you better gather around. This discrepancy between number 1 and number 2 is the largest that I've done since I've been coding in this way, which is like 10 seasons now. So you're welcome, the Cowboys fans. I'm sorry you gave all your love to the Niners.
It all works out in the end. Somebody's going to be 100% eventually. Let's talk more or less.
Exactly.
Player props for the Packers and 49ers. Jordan Love had 3 passing touchdowns against the Cowboys last week. Will he have more or less than 1.5 this week?
More. Sneaky fact about this 49ers defense. It's not as good as you remember. It's still very good, but they can get got sometimes. And one of the things I like about this matchup for Jordan Love is Charvarius Ward very often takes away the opposing team's best receiver. But there's so many best receivers on the Packers that there's room for all the secondary guys to step up. And Jordan Love is playing like a top 5 quarterback right now. I'd take him over just about anyone in terms of the level he's at, including the opposition, Brock Purdy. Come at me, Brock Purdy supporters.
I was about to say,
I think he's busy.
Yeah.
Brock's a little busy today.
All right, he'll be busy handing the ball off to Christian McCaffrey. Will CMC have 126 yards from scrimmage?
The pillow says more.
Of course.
And so does the math. Why? Because if you look at the most vulnerable part of this Packers defense, since week 13, they've allowed 9.3% of passes to the middle third of the field to be completed over expected. That's the largest in the NFL. Over that time span, that is where Christian McCaffrey catches those passes and also where he likes to run the football. So it just doesn't bode well for that area of the defense.
I feel like rest was important for this team especially, but more than anyone, Christian McCaffrey was a little banged up, and if he was
plays like 100% of snaps.
Right, if he was this good, week after week after week, with 2 weeks of rest, he might go 226 yards.
One thing that Cynthia loves to say is sometimes Kyle Shanahan will say some
lying liar who
aren't
lies.
necessarily true. Remember before the season when it was like, hey, the 49ers may not give the ball to, he led the league in carries and rushing, did CMC. I'll take Deebo Samuel. Will he have more or less than 58 receiving yards against the Packers? I'm going to say Deebo has more, despite the fact that he's played the Packers in January twice in his career. He's never had more than 58 receiving yards. but he also ran for 40 yards a game in those 2 wins. This time he has a better quarterback. And again, the best running back in the NFL now. I think Christian McCaffrey gets some of those carries, more opportunity for Debo in the passing game. And more on Brock Purdy's passing totals coming up later on in the show. Coming up, the Lions haven't made the NFC Championship in over 30, it's always 30 years.
Now it's a new stat that they haven't done. I guess that's what happened.
Will Jared Goff have Cynthia and Detroit fans popping bottles on Sunday? Our picks for Bucks, Lions, right after this break. Back on Game Day, view before this playoff matchup in Week 6. Let's go back. Jared Goff against Baker Mayfield. The Bucs were coming off their bye. They were leading the NFC South in the first quarter. 1st and 10 at their own 8. And Mayfield's pass is tipped by Isaiah Buggs. Will Harris picks it off. They party in the end zone. They kick a field goal after that. They lead 3-0. Second quarter, game tied at 3. Jared Goff looking to David Montgomery on a screen pass. He gets 19 yards. Problem is, Shaq Barrett lands directly on top of him. He would stay down after the play. There was no Jahmyr Gibbs. He was out that day. He was looking on. So it would have to be Craig Reynolds for the remainder because Montgomery would not return with a rib injury. 7 plays later, Jared Goff hits Amon-Ra St. Brown, evades tacklers, and we mentioned Craig Reynolds. He blocks like 3 people there. And St. Brown gets in the end zone. He finished that play with a touchdown, finished the game with 12 catches, a career high for him. Another look at Craig Reynolds taking out the entire Bucs team. The Lions led 10-3 after that. Third quarter now, Lions up 10-6. 3rd and 10, Todd Bowles blitzes. Jared Goff's like, I got you. It's Jamison Williams for a 45-yard touchdown after J-Mo finally finds the ball. He's like, where is it?
What?
There
I
it
hate
is.
that his mouth guard isn't in either.
The whole idea of you got to blitz Jared Goff, make him feel uncomfortable. His numbers against the blitz this season are fantastic. Blitz at your own peril. Todd Bowles.
He had 353 and 2 touchdowns, leading us to winning moves presented by Intuit TurboTax. The Bucs and the Lions meet again Sunday with a trip to the NFC Championship on the line. Deep breath, Cynthia. Baker Mayfield against Goff, a battle of former number 1 overall picks. Does your team come out on top?
By 4 points. 26-22. That's what the math says. I'm very scared. Why? Because when I went back and watched the Bucs game from last week, I saw yak. I saw lots of yak. I saw Mike Evans with yak. I saw Cade Otton with yak. I saw a lot of yards after the catch, which is an area that the Lions need to shore up. CJ, please come to my rescue. I'm very worried about some of these one-on-one matchups. And by the way, we're going back to conspiracy theories. The tight end coach from the Bucs is from Okemos, Michigan. It scares me very much.
This is ridiculous.
I'm telling you, none of that stuff matters, but the math, listen, I'll go with the math on here, 4 points. I'm gonna be there.
We're watching Cade Otton highlights.
Yes.
This is the first divisional round game in 30 years. You're going to be there, and we're watching Cade Otton highlights during the Lions win prediction? Come on.
Yes.
This is ridiculous.
Yes,
if you're not going to talk about the Lions, I'm going to talk about the Lions, and I'm going to have them win by more than 4.5 points or 6.5 points, 10
You
points.
thought they lost last week.
I blew it, and you should be crowing. You had
Well, now
the
I have to
prime
get a dog
number.
named Dan.
And now
I got to
you're-
get a dog named Dan.
Yeah, you promised you would name your second dog Dan.
I know.
They
Hal's
came
on
through
board,
for you.
too, you know?
I have more faith in them now, though, because this is the matchup you want. I think points are going to be aplenty, and I think the Lions' defense will be sneaky good. Good enough in this matchup. So Aleem McNeil returned from injury a couple weeks ago. He's made a difference. Gardner Johnson, you mentioned, is out there. He's made a difference. They actually activated James Houston for this matchup. And you have a really good defensive coordinator in Aaron Glenn, who I think can get even better in the playoffs. They threw some things at the Rams that, yes, they ended up moving the ball well, but they could not get it done in the red zone. And Baker Mayfield, we're seeing some of his struggles from week 6. He's had about 5 or 6 games this year where he's been fantastic. He's also had 5 or 6 games this year where he's not been good at all, where he's been the old Baker Mayfield. I promise, I watched those games. One of them was against the Lions. It's going to happen again, Cynthia.
All I have to say is keep your grubby paws off my coordinators.
Whoa.
Ben, stay. Aaron, stay. I'll get them marketing deals. I'll tell Little Caesars that they need to be in commercials.
I mean, she's
Come
getting
on.
scared. She's getting possessive. It's a lot right now.
No,
Keep your grubby paws off my coordinators.
It's passion, and when it means something, you try hard. And that's why some people think C.J. Gardner-Johnson is going to make Baker Mayfield trying hard. And what I think was actually a compliment to Baker, because he said if you give him a good quarterback, the guys are great. And then he said the guys were great, which would mean that anyway, I've got the Lions in this one as well, 27-23, because the first time these two teams played in Week 6, Amon-Ra St. Brown had 15 targets. 15. All week we've been dissecting the Eagles' lack of a plan against the blitz, but Ben Johnson and Jared Goff have seen it all. They had those 2 games against the Flores Vikings. We saw them play against the Buccaneers. The personnel isn't the same, but the sun god arises this weekend. 27-23 Lions. Yes, we all believe.
Wow.
Every single one of us.
Wow.
Even if a couple of us didn't last week. Catch it all with the NFL Plus. Stream the NFL playoffs and Super Bowl 58 on phone or tablet. Plus, stay connected throughout the offseason with special content of the NFL Scouting Combine, NFL Draft, and more. Go to plus.nfl.com and sign up today. Time for quick picks. Let's take a look at all the games this weekend, starting with the quarterback we think will pass for the most yards, and you like Jared Goff here.
I do. The indoor cat is going to indoor cat it up. I think this is a high-scoring game. I think this is an opportunity for Amon-Ra St. Brown to be a target quite a bit. And I also think you don't run against this Todd Bowles defense. So just go with the thing that makes the most sense, and that is Jared Goff throwing the ball behind this awesome O-line. And by the way, the decibels at Ford Field last week were over 133. Which I think, let's go for hopefully Jared Goff's passer rating is right around there as well.
Yeah, I mean, I know we got to respect the Bucs and all, but it's a divisional round game, and you get to play against the team that should have probably lost to the Panthers 2 weeks ago.
Stop
That's
it.
a good matchup. That's a good matchup.
Stop. No.
All right, I think that Brock Purdy is going to throw a lot of those short passes that are going to turn into some long gains. Let's look at the running backs, though. I'm the only one not picking Christian McCaffrey.
Yeah.
And that's because I think
You're wrong.
As previously stated by the very astute, very knowledgeable Cynthia Freeland, it doesn't take much for Jahmyr Gibbs to break a long one. And I think if the blitz is going the wrong direction, if they bite too much on play action, it just takes a handful of carries for the home run hitter to hit a home run. We haven't seen it yet in the playoffs. I think Jahmyr Gibbs is going to have a couple against the Buccaneers.
Yes, I hope so.
Are we getting more Jahmyr Gibbs later? We'll have to find out and write this down. The one thing that worries me, though, he only had 19 snaps last week. It's like,
what was that all about?
Let's get him out there a little more.
Maybe Detroit has a lead. Maybe, things start to. Let's get Cynthia fired up for this game. And Greg, absolutely no common ground between the three of us on who will have the most receiving yards, but you are going with the Packers rookie.
Yeah,
there we go.
Let's go totally off the board. Jaden Reed gets it done this week. You want to know why? Because he had no yards last week. Somehow the leader in their receptions for the season. And I do like the matchup over the middle of the field. I think that's where you can get at San Francisco. Yes, the linebackers are great, but I'm talking about the safeties, the way that they can use them. You just never know what's going to happen with this Packers team, who's going to step up. And so it's going to be Jaden Reed from my guy, Jordan Love.
Patrick, you took Ayuk, right?
Yeah.
Okay, which is funny because didn't Craig just get finished telling us that as good as we think Ayuk is, he's better?
Well,
Part of it is
I think that Brandon Ayuk is the best in the league this weekend, so how can it be better, Greg? How can it be better?
I'm stuck because Jordan Love's going to have to throw 65 passes because Joe Barry's defense gives up 65 points. How about that?
There it is. A score fest. Maybe a little Tiempo del Garbaje coming up towards the end. Still to come, it's a new chapter in the Patrick Mahomes-Josh Allen rivalry. Will the Bills finally exercise their playoff demons, put them on a treadmill against the Chiefs? Our picks for KC and Buffalo coming up next.
365 days ago, we was right here, and we walked off this field with a loss.
On the spot, 10 seconds on the clock, gonna show them what we got to offer. If you want, you can make it to the top, but you gotta learn how to suffer. It's my time, gotta lay it on the line, gotta show them just what I'm made of. Lights out, now there's no room for doubt, gotta focus on the goal. The winner takes all, pass the ball, reach for the stars, no stopping us. Winner takes all, watch the score, we can go far, we ain't dropping us. The winner takes all.
The Chiefs and the Bills. Patrick Mahomes, 3-2 in his career against Josh Allen, including the playoffs. But the Chiefs came in losing 3 of their last 5, despite Taylor being in attendance. Josh Allen, 33 total touchdowns this season, 14-2 in December since 2020, and that's why he's like, I got a December win record to hold up. And he pile drives his way into the end zone for
Get off me.
6 yards there. He flexes. Bills lead 14-10, but here comes KC. Mahomes looks short to Kadarius Toney, but Kadarius Toney drops it, and that's the only mistake he would make in this game.
That's not true.
Yeah, that's not true. Took his eyes off the ball. Chiefs league-leading 33rd drop, but not dropping one was the rookie Rashee Rice 4-yard touchdown. Chiefs cut the lead to 3. Mahomes finished 25 of 43, 271, and that touchdown. Fourth quarter now, it's tied at 17. Josh Allen can't find anyone, and he's sacked by George Karlaftis. They lose 4 yards, but there is a flag on the play. It's illegal contact.
Good call.
Greg says it's a good call.
I mean, I'm curious if Karlaftis is a big factor in this game against this good O-line.
So they get a first down and a field goal, but here come the Chiefs. Patrick Mahomes hits Travis Kelce, who sees out of the corner of his eye Kadarius Toney, and the wild card that is Travis Kelce makes one of the greatest plays that we'll remember it forever because it didn't count. Kadarius Toney was lined up offsides. And then offensive offsides was called excessively for the next couple of weeks. Unfortunately, that scourge is over. But also that game was over, as Patrick Mahomes was upset at the call, and they're now tied all time, 3-3.
Crazy.
And the rubber match as the Chiefs head to Buffalo for a rematch Sunday night. Patrick Mahomes' first true road playoff game. Gabe Davis, Christian Benford, Taylor Rapp already ruled out for the Bills. Cynthia, do you think they win despite that?
Well, I did a bunch of math here, and we're getting to the tipping point here, so it could switch on Sunday. But 24-23 Bills is what I have right now. If they lose many more players, it could flip. I have 25-23, if that should be the case. If we see some of these guys who are on the potential question list or whatever, I don't know, they're not doubtful, they're limited or whatever. If they don't play, that's going to be a big problem. I do want to talk about Josh Allen, though, and Josh Allen's legs. I don't know if you guys know this, but I love the movie Pitch Perfect, and nobody talks about the fact that Josh Allen is dating the girl from that, Haley Steinfeld.
Really?
We only talk about the other one dating. Anyway, so I just wanted.
Excuse me?
She's not showing up. Show up on Sunday. Let's go,
she
Haley.
does. They just don't put her on the screen as much, right? So maybe we should get like a little a cappella going on. Anyways, long story short, Josh Allen's ability to run is being game-changing. If you look at what's happened since Joe Brady took over and they had their bye, he's had at least 2 designed runs in each game, except their blowout win over the Cowboys. So that has been a difference maker, and none more that sticks out than that 52-yarder last week, which happens to be like the longest in Bills history, second longest in playoff history, just absolutely decimates you with his legs.
I got to admit, like my head, my heart are in different places
Agreed.
with this. Like it's hard to pick against Patrick Mahomes and one of the best defenses in the league, certainly the best defense he's ever had, and yet I'm going to do it. I'm going to pick the Bills. I believe in you. I've said all season they're going to respond from this 6-6 and maybe go all the way, and it's because of that support Josh Allen's getting, not just from Haley Steinfeld, but from Khalil Shakir and from Cooks and from Dalton Kincaid and the offensive line. And it's interesting. We've always wanted to see like Patrick Mahomes with a better defense and maybe a better offensive line, and he has that now, and he doesn't have the weapons. And now Josh Allen is the one with a good offensive line and the weapons. And so even if Stephon Diggs gets taken out of this game a little bit, and he did the first time they played against L'Jarius
He's also
Sneed,
a little banged up.
we have seen that the secondary players, and I know Gabe Davis isn't there, but Shakir and Cook and just this whole group is really coming together, and I think the offensive line cannot be lost in this because the Chiefs have a very good defensive line. That's where they win up front, and I think the Bills, who have been very healthy up front all season, give Josh Allen the protection, the blocking they need, and he goes hero mode, and he gets the win 23-20.
It goes hero mode, and guys, there are some certainties in sports, especially in sports discussion. If you haven't done something before, then in sports discussion, that means you can never possibly do it. And Patrick Mahomes has never won a true road playoff game because they're so good. and they end up playing at home, and they end up winning. I've got the Chiefs winning here in Buffalo. This is a 27-26 win because it's just too much. Bills with no Christian Benford, no Taylor Rapp, Terrell Bernard, Rasul Douglas going to be game-time decisions. During the Bills win streak, I don't want to show these guys getting hurt. I want to show the plays that all of these guys have made because Buffalo, as Greg pointed out, as Cynthia pointed out, the odds were not in their favor, but they just kept doing it week after week after week. Football is not fair. And these guys got hurt at the absolute wrong time. It's a short game because of the snow. It's just everything has worked against them. I've got to take Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs to win in Buffalo by a point. It's time for this guy or that guy. Mahomes had 1 touchdown last week. Josh Allen tossed 3. Who's more likely for multiple scores through the air, Greg?
I'm going Mahomes, and it's difficult to say either was more likely when Josh Allen is the guy who scores touchdown week after week after week. So I think they both can go over, but to me, Mahomes is a better pick in this one because he's more likely to be throwing the ball where Josh Allen, like in that first matchup, could be running in for a touchdown. And that first matchup is the game where we really saw their offense consolidate, that it's all Kelsey and all Rashee Rice. It was the same last week. They're getting all the targets. That's all you need, really. Rashee Rice, Travis Kelsey, Patrick Mahomes is the guy.
If you had to say which one's more likely or is both the most likely, which one would you pick of those 3 options?
I'd go both because I just like touchdowns and I like sports.
Yeah, we're also fans of touchdowns and sports. Spoiler alert on this show. Sydney, who's more likely
great quarterback.
to
I just
run
like
for
touchdowns and sports.
run for more than 62 yards? Isaiah Pacheco or James Cook?
So I have James Cook in this matchup, partly because of the weather, and also you got to keep Josh Allen from the situation where things get dicey and you're looking for your second, third read. Without Gabe Davis, there are some of those deeper question marks. So for me, run the ball, leverage the opportunity to take James Cook on early downs and make him effective. That to me just feels like just run right behind Spencer Brown. He's like 75 feet tall and he's a right tackle. Run right behind him. He is the best run blocker of any lineman this year so far. So do that.
I hate to get all like old school football, but it does feel like which team can run the ball here, and more like which offensive coordinator can take the gamble that the other opposing coach is going to give them. They're going to dare them to run. Steve Spagnuolo did that the first time around, and the Bills kind of took that bet, and they did run the ball well. Andy Reid in big spots. Will he actually stick to the run? He usually doesn't.
We've seen things go either way, as we all feel this game could. Last one, more likely to score a touchdown for me, I'll Rashee Rice or Stephon Diggs. Really, I'm picking which defense is most likely to prevent the other guy from scoring the touchdown, and I think Rashee Rice going up against this injured Bills secondary and team, because remember, those linebackers having to cover Rashee Rice running all of these crossers over and over again. So much action in the backfield in the Andy Reid offense. So I think Rashee Rice makes his way into the end zone. But still, looking forward to the game.
I just like sports. And touchdowns.
Sports are
This
good.
is the perfect last game. Like, this is how you
100%.
finish the weekend.
Coming up, we're talking this weekend's points totals, plus some guys we absolutely think will find the end zone. It's the best weekend of football all year, unless your team loses. But we're not talking about any of that. Stick around on Game Day View.
Game day dip in the oven? Just tell Siri. Remind me to check the food in 10 minutes.
Get your divisional playoff weekend started Saturday at noon Eastern with NFL Game Day Morning. The Ravens and 49ers are well rested, but are they ready for C.J. Stroud and Jordan Love to come to town? We'll let you know which #1 seed should be on upset alert.
It's going to be a pick six.
And another disastrous ending to a season in Dallas. Michael Irvin weighs in on where the Cowboys go from here. Then on Sunday at 11 a.m. Eastern, Josh Allen is 0-2 against Patrick Mahomes in the playoffs. Kurt Warner breaks down what the Bills QB needs to do differently this time around. Plus, Michael Irvin sits down with Amon-Ra St. Brown to discuss what the Lions' first playoff win in over 30 years means to the city of Detroit. All that and much more Saturday at noon and Sunday at 11 a.m. Eastern.
Let's look at some over-unders for the divisional round. According to FanDuel, the Packers and the 49ers have the highest number at 50.5. Right behind them, the Bucs, the Lions, then the Chiefs, Bills, Texans, Ravens, rounding things out. So let's talk about some of these matchups here in the divisional round as we get to over/under and what we think, starting with the Texans and Ravens at 43.5. I don't think 43.5 is enough points. I've got the over here, especially because I think Baltimore gets you 26. Easy get for the Texans to clear that. I've got the over.
I do as well. I'm going over. They made these hands just for me. Number one in the picks. We're number one. Thank you. These two teams are more explosive than you realize. A lot of big plays from the Texans. So that's short drives, long touchdowns. Ravens can do the same. We're going over.
I just think that in order for C.J. Stroud and this Texans offense to have a chance against the Ravens, they got to go big play right away, just like we saw with Nico Collins 2 games ago. All
right, the highest total and maybe the most for us to kind of contend with here, the Packers and the 49ers, 50.5. I think that's a lot of points, and I'm going to take the under unless things get super out of hand. I think late after the 49ers get ahead to the lead, they ice the ball, they run the ball, and the Packers are forced to throw over and over again, turnovers. I don't think it happens.
See, you're wrong, Patrick, because we live in an offensive world, in an offensive league. All the numbers say these are the top 2 quarterbacks in basically every stat in the second half of the season. The best 2 quarterbacks numbers-wise going against each other. We're going way over.
I'm going to get defensive here with you, and I have 48 total points in this matchup. I actually think we saw a buster, a tendency buster from the Packers last week, playing a lot more zone than we had seen, and I think they'll try to create some sort of nonsense this week too.
Oh, we love nonsense.
Yes.
The Bucs and the Lions total, again, kind of high, 48.5. I don't think that's high enough. Because I believe in Jared Goff. I believe in the Lions, and I think the Lions will make several big plays in this game. The Bucs will have to score some points late to keep up. I think that gets you north. I got 50 points in this one.
Yeah, I have 50 as well, the same, and so I'm just over. And the reason why this game is different than the other 3 this weekend, something Todd Bowles pointed out this week.
They play inside?
The game is indoors. And so there's been a lot of controversy. Is it indoors? Is it outdoors? It is going to be indoors. Points indoors.
You know, news alert, the Ford Field's been indoors now since they made it. I only have 48 points, which is just a half a point under. So if I'm going with my gut, Tommy says this, Matt says this. Tommy says this, Matt says this.
And again, if you're a news reporter that's forced into covering a sports press conference, sometimes you don't necessarily have to ask a question.
Also, I need a gift.
The Google machine also says
going on. I want someone to make a little video about that.
The Chiefs and Bills over under is 45.5. I think we get a score fest here. I got points because I'm looking forward to this game. I think they go up and down the field, and the Chiefs win in the last-second Harrison Butker field goal that hits the over.
This is my one. I'm going under. I think these two defenses. Sean McDermott has just been outstanding since he got called out for some questionable motivational tactics a few years ago. Really misguided. His defense and his coaching has been outstanding. So I think these are 2 really good defenses. We're going under.
I'm going over in this one. I have 47 total points. I think it's going to be a close game. This one's the most likely to go into overtime for me, which means the potential for more points is even better. Also, I like the snowballs being thrown, so I need to see more of that.
Especially when before the game, the fans are told there will be no throwing of snow. And then we all celebrate the snow.
I feel like, I'll be honest with you, they probably reminded people they could throw the snow. You're like, don't do it. Don't do it.
But definitely not in an end zone target. Like somebody almost hit George Pickens. Don't do that.
Yeah,
Let's get some
No,
more.
no, just throw it like in the air for fun.
Time to get some more quick picks. Let's give the tight ends some love. Starting with George Kittle, Greg. Will George Kittle score a touchdown this weekend?
Okay, so I ran it through my model. George Kittle,
Hey!
6 touchdowns this year. There were 16 games. Divide 6 by 16. That's no. That's what that is.
Unless they play the game 7 more times.
Or if they played the Packers every week, would he only have 6 touchdowns? Don't point out these inconsistencies. I'm feeling Ayuk and CMC. That's what I'm.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, fine. I was going to do some math there, but you just said you're feeling it. It's fine. Your model. You and your model.
Yeah, I think the Niners get some points and George Kittle red zone target after play action. towards CMC. Cynthia, let's go to another tight end and talk about your boy, Sam Laporta. Does Sam Laporta get in the end zone?
Yes, Sam Laporta gets in the end zone. He's kind of my X factor in this one, although can you be an X factor if you're so well known? I don't know about that, but I do think he gets in the end zone. And listen, Greg may mock me about having a model.
I'm not mocking, that was my model, 6 divided by 16.
All right, fine. My model says Laporta end zone, and all of you agree. Your model agrees with my model here.
I mean,
per the graphic.
Sam Laporta is a model rookie tight end.
Oh, there we go.
Second team All-Pro.
You have to pay me every time you say the word model. And
okay,
I've trademarked it.
I will.
Okay.
Like a lot of the all-time greats, as rookie tight ends, they weren't second team All-Pro. It didn't really happen. This is one of the best seasons any rookie tight ends ever had.
And also, the first time the Bucs played the Lions back in Week 16, Sam Laporta got 11 targets. We're talking about Amon-Ra's 15. They were feeding Sam Laporta, so I think they have a chance to do so. Again, last one, does Travis Kelce get into the end zone for the first time since Week 11? You guys both say no, but what I presuppose with my pick,
your model.
Travis Kelce does. I don't have a model. I've got like a Protiva from 1996 with a 28.8 modem, so it doesn't run anything. But again, the Bills' defense is hurt right now, and one of the most difficult things to do, it's not like it was. Go back and watch 2018 Travis Kelce. He's insane. He's impossible to cover. This is not that Travis Kelce, but he still has a connection with Patrick Mahomes, and they do fun stuff towards the end zone, and I think he scores one of those touchdowns.
Your model is actually more recent than the last time the Lions won a home playoff game, if you think about it.
Oh.
Yeah, so your model is actually pretty recent in terms of that.
It's very
I keep
true.
telling everyone this week, I keep getting text messages from friends and family about the Lions. I'm like, we couldn't have done this the last time they did it. I mean,
Right.
we were 7, or we were young kids, but
You know what
they didn't exist. There was no iPhone.
What
Like a
gets me with them,
telegraph.
it's not the first since 91, it's the second win since 57 that really does it.
Right, were there cars
That's
then?
a little extra.
Was TV
But
all black and white then?
It's
I don't
very
know. I wasn't
fortunate
born.
that those 70 years of Lions aren't playing this weekend. So none of that actually matters. Up next, we got some wild and crazy predictions for the divisional round of the playoffs. Stick around. You're watching Game Day View delivered by Little Caesars. We're back on Game Day View. It's time for Write This Down as we get some predictions for the divisional round that you must take note of. Start us off, Greg.
Yeah, for once, I'm the best dressed person on the set.
You are.
They gave me some Little Caesars merch, and I think I'm rocking it right now. You know
are.
what else is going to happen this weekend? All the favorites are going to win. You say the NFL, so many surprising things happen every week. You never know what's going to happen in the NFL. Maybe the most surprising thing is that nothing surprising happens. All 4 favorites, line them up, pick them. And I'm not talking about they win by at least 9.5. I'm just saying 49ers win, Ravens win, Lions win, and then Bills connect this 4-team matchup, however you want to think about it, and it all comes through, and we get a great championship weekend.
Yeah, it's like a square.
Yes.
It's all
connected.
It's all connected.
all connected.
Interesting. Cynthia?
Okay, I love me some rushing numbers, and I think that Josh Allen is going to have at least 44 rushing yards. I also think Patrick Mahomes is going to have at least 27 rushing yards. So if you're looking at a game and you're saying, hey, Bills, Chiefs, what do I look at? Just look at the rushing numbers for the quarterbacks and say, lots of.
Lots.
Like pizza, but lots of.
Yeah, I want lots of pizza.
Yes.
Shout out to Little Caesars, the official pizza of Super Bowl 58.
Yeah.
And
our show.
On this show, we've celebrated a particular Detroit Lion who went to the University of Alabama who makes big plays. And I'm going to do that again, but it's not that guy. It's Jameson Williams. I think he will have over 35 receiving yards against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. We saw Jared Goff hit him for that bomb touchdown. Again, we know Todd Bowles is going to be blitzing. It only takes one. And I think J-Mo can get you that one and get more than 35 receiving yards. Again, is Sam Laporta going to get 11 targets? Those other targets got to go to someone. If they give Amon-Ra 15 again, Jameson is going to be the recipient.
Cynthia will be there watching. Do it for Cynthia.
Come hang out with me on Sunday, Elwood Bar and Grill. Yes.
Thanks for watching Game Day View, delivered by Little Caesars, the official pizza sponsor of Super Bowl 58.